Welcome back to Brutal Mode EX, the mod that makes Plants vs Zombies much more difficult. In this series, we attempt to beat the hardest levels in PvZ history, and you are currently watching part 11 of the series. In the last video, we beat the most challenging level in PvZ history, and I strongly recommend you watch the previous parts first, as most things are changed from the original game in Brutal Mode EX. Today, we are continuing on the level page minigames. The first minigame today is Big Time, or as I would call it, the 50 sun meta minigame. Sunflowers now give back 50 instead of 25 per sun, and that makes it an incredibly easy way to get sun production due to being able to plant another sunflower straight after another. And it's also why PvZ2 is extremely easy to beat. Having a 50 sun meta makes this one of, if not the easiest choose your seeds minigames, even with Rigor gargantuars that throw jack-in-the-box zombies and other strong folks in play. The amount of sun you have this level will offset most of the difficulty since you can get so many more plants. The early game is fairly trivial. With so much sun to work with, you can just plant a repeater in every row fairly easily to kill everything. If buckethead zombies or newspaper zombies come, no problem, just slap down a mana shroom and that's done. In this level, due to how much more sun than usual we have, we can bring both winter melons and gatling peas to do massive damage while slowing everything down. Winter melons will be needed to deal with balloon zombies this level, and it's basically a free Peter and cattail combined for the purposes of this level. Other than that, the strategy is pretty similar to the strategy in Sunny Day, spamming magnet shrooms to counter jack-in-the-box zombies from gargantuars. Other than sunflowers being bigger, marigolds are also bigger in Big Time. You could believe that it will generate 2 random colored suns at once, however, it does not. Rather, it generates a pea shooter seed packet and a random sun. And conveniently, we can use these pea shooter seed packets as free stalling plants against gargantuars. Aside from marigold, walnuts are also bigger, making them have double health, so I suppose that makes the level even easier, huh? But yeah, not much to say, other than we bring Planter to counter ghost jack-in-the-box zombies. And with the loadout I'm currently using, you should be able to easily beat the level. Only problem here being this level takes 20 minutes to beat since it's so long with 4 flags. The next minigame, our challenge sunflower, as the name implies, we have to draw a sunflower by planting sunflowers. Okay, not just sunflowers, but also with walnuts and starfruits. This level is relatively straightforward. Instead of planting just a single plant, planting 3 different ones means we don't need to wait for as much recharge time on the plants. So, the strategy to beat this level is to spam potato mine and imitator potato mine to kill off the early game, while you set up for the sun production. By setting up the sun production, you can also just get sunflowers in the allocated tiles we need to plant sunflowers anyways, to get that part of the drawing done. With enough sun production, you then go for a free Peter in the second row to slow down the zombies from reaching your starfruits that you will need to plant there. After a free Peter, just planting a bunch of starfruits will suffice for the rest of the game. Use instant kills appropriately, of course, to kill off torchlight zombies, but starfruits are generally enough to kill off anything below it, so we don't need extra defense. About this time, catapult zombies roll in. We don't really want to invest into umbrella leaf as they're expensive, so just use your potato mines and planterns to block them off. Then, just rush your walnuts and you only need 3 of them, so it won't be that big of a deal to get them placed, and then that should be the level relatively easily completed. It's time for Airaid, the level of balloon zombie spam, and also catapult zombie spam and bungee zombie spam. Well, I guess time to use umbrella leaves. Well, what could possibly go wrong? Well, so you see, normally catapult zombies would not be a problem since 100 sun would deny them from doing pretty much anything. With umbrella leaves, there are going to be tons of problems with them firing down our entire row of plants pretty badly for us. This level is similar to Pogo Party, as the first zombie of a level is a special zombie, so we have extra preparation time to prepare for them. I tried using Gravebuster Imitator to rush for a cattail, but before I can even plant one, a catapult is already here blasting down everything. All my puff shoots are dead, and the balloon zombies are already coming in, just like that. We literally lost a lawnmower to the first of the zombies. Seriously? And before I even finished the last sentence, the second catapult zombie also took my next lawnmower. Oh great, this level is absolute chaos. By the first flag of this level, we already pretty much lost all our sun production, all our lawnmowers, and pretty much everything else on the ground. And pretty much as you can see here, there's no shot we can beat this level with literally nothing but free cattails. What a nice start to this minigame. So, instead of imitating Gravebuster, I brought back the strategy used in the original Brutal Mode version of this minigame. Instead, I brought Imitator to imitate Puff Shroom. Imitator Puff Shroom allows us to block the early catapult zombies indefinitely until they run out of basketballs, allowing us to do more damage to them and stall for free. Even with Imitator Puffshroom, it's still a major challenge to deal with the early game, since we still need to sacrifice a lawnmower or two against the first few waves of balloon zombies. As for the first catapult zombie, with just enough stalling, we can squeeze out a cattail in time and kill it at the moment just before it rolls over our lawnmower. And thankfully, because we are actually capable of stopping the catapult zombies, the early game then becomes very easy right after we get up our first cattail. Cattails are excellent in this level for obvious reasons, since they sit in the water, safe from being attacked by the catapult zombies this level. But hey, what about the bungee zombies? You may also be wondering, why am I not digging up the sea shroom craters in the water? Well, bungee zombies actually detect these craters as valid targets and land on them, so leaving the craters there makes it less likely bungees land on my cattails. Perfect way to bait the bungee zombies away when we don't have umbrella leaf. Then, throughout the level, you just keep spamming loads and loads of cattails. You have enough sun after the first flag by saving all your sun shrooms from being destroyed. That's simply how strong spamming zero cost protection plants are in this game. For the remainder of this level, you need to keep planting the puff shrooms to slow down catapult zombies. It is incredibly micro intensive, but with enough puff shroom blocking for the level should be very nice and easy. And that's going to be Airaid completed with cattails and puff shroom spamming. High Gravity is a minigame that, as the name implies, gravity is higher than usual in this level. All shooting plants are now affected by strong gravity, pulling their projectiles down, causing them to hit the ground and miss the zombies unless at very close proximity. Unfortunately, the modders decided to make things extra spicy with this level with the selection of zombies we've got going right here. Zombonis, dancers, screen doors, and digger zombies are all very big threats in themselves and we'll need to neutralize them without having access to any straight shooters or lobbers. We get to see some very funny interactions with different plants because of the high gravity mechanic. The first plant I tried was cattail, and it was literally hitting itself with its own spikes. A melee range cattail, which as you'd expect, is not very useful compared to one that can target the entire screen. Unfortunately, there are balloon zombies this level and we need to somehow kill them. I suppose we have to use melee cattails to beat them? Yeah, well, this isn't looking too great already, is it? Now, since Starfruit pierces through the roof as we used it in the Pogo Party level, it should pierce through the roof here too, right? Well, yeah, it does, except this happens. The stars literally go downwards, like down towards the bottom of your screen, as if there is real gravity pulling them down from Earth. Makes Starfruit basically not able to shoot above or in front of itself, but only below itself. It's the most funny when the star that is supposed to be shot upwards now also goes downwards after traveling a bit up. I tried using starfruits on the uppermost row and then garlic to push the zombies there downwards. A problem with this approach is obviously torchlight zombies. Yes, garlic does move zombies when it is placed and also when it is destroyed, but it's still way too costly and has too long recharge to move just one row of zombies. So, naturally, since starfruits don't work and we have no options to choose from straight shooters as the projectiles just hit the roof floor, and then we can look through our list of plants that are possible. Not really anything seems to be usable here, is it? Obviously, gloom shrooms won't work because of torchlight zombies. Well, guess we only have cob cannons. Thankfully, using cob cannon here is much less of a hassle compared to in Unsodded, since we have access to all 5 rows to plant some flowers and not be super short on sun. Naturally, I'd bring in an efficient early game option like Potato Mine and Imitate Planturn to slow zombies down. Using the stall until doom shroom strategy here does not work because we don't have any way to kill off the fast zombies naturally, as all straight shooters don't work. Now, if straight shooters don't work since they fall towards the ground, does that also mean the Zombotany Peas this level won't hit our plants? Wow, for once, we avoid pea shooter hell. Okay, so that's only a visual thing where Zombotany Peas fall off the roof, as the Zombotany Peas are very much obviously still damaging our cob cannons by looking at the projectile's shadows. So we still have to block off the Zombotany Peas with our chump blockers of flower pots, puff shrooms, grave busters, and planterns, but it should be enough to hold them off. And then I like to use Cherry Bomb occasionally to kill off groups of torchlights that don't require cob cannons heavy damage to kill. That helps cut down the amount of zombies. Also, you do not want to place your cob cannon further than a 4th column like this, or else digger zombies will eat it while it is underground. Overall, cob cannons will then make this level not so hard and be pretty easy to get through. On our first attempt, we already pretty much beat the level. Way to go with cob cannon. The final wave is a little bit hectic, so be careful about that. I completely panicked and absolutely missed the gargantuars with my cob cannon shot and instead hit the ones on the top. That made one throw a jack-in-the-box zombie and instantly kill all my cob cannons. Whoops. And then, I had to painstakingly play the same level I already got to the final wave for 3 more times. One time, I screwed up against bigger zombies, which killed my cop cannon. They are dangerous because of how fast they move underground straight to the 4th column and ruin your cop cannons once you miss them with your cop cannon shot. The second time, I died on the final wave again. This time because of me losing all my cop cannons, and then very unfortunately the grave spawned tallnut zombies. The tallnut zombies don't die to a jalapeno, so my hopes of winning were also destroyed in the second attempt. After 3 failed attempts, all pretty close to winning, I was finally able to not screw up and beat it on my 4th try. It is of utmost importance to protect cop cannons as well as possible. Grave Danger, as the name implies, is a level where graves are dangerous. You can't use Gravebuster in this nighttime level, so that's going to be pretty rough. There's a pretty rough selection of zombies here too. We have dancing zombies, football zombies, pole vaulters, pea shooter zombies, and jalapeno zombies. What's different though is that in this level, gravestones spawn zombies not just in the final wave, but also when the first flag hits, making them much more dangerous. Gravestones also start spawning naturally throughout the level on top of all the gravestones spawned by gravehead zombies, making the level even more challenging without Gravebuster. Not having access to Gravebuster just made me realize how important of a plant it has been in all my strategies. Without Gravebuster, we suffer so much more in the early game because of the reduced sun production compared to usual, causing us to have a much harder time defending. It's nighttime with pea shooter zombies, which hasn't happened for the entire game since every time pea shooter zombies have appeared, it's just during daytime or a night roof. In this scenario, it's pretty interesting, since we don't have flower pots to block off the initial Zombotany peas from our main attacking plants. With sunshrooms and puff shrooms being shorter, this means Zombotany peas just fly above them, making them all target any other taller plants. That is actually really bad for us, since planting any melon pole just makes it get completely fired down by Zombotany peas without any cheap fodder available to block it. That made our first attempt at playing this level a complete fail. Melon poles basically do nothing for us here since they just completely die to pea shooter zombies, and from looking at the current state of the lawn, it doesn't seem like we have any hopes of winning this game when we have pretty much nothing to defend off the zombies. Since we weren't going to set up any permanent defense with these pea shooter zombies shooting pretty much everything down, we might as well just use temporary defense and win. Therefore, I decided to imitate Puff Shroom and try to beat this level, since it's just 2 flags, and we can rely on lawnmowers and doom shrooms to eliminate the threats of while stalling them. It actually worked very well in the early game since we got lots more time to stall out against the pea shooter zombies, allowing us to get more potato mines to blow them up. It also just gives us more time to farm sun and plant pea shooters more safely as they get to live for a longer time, giving us more value for everything else. For the grave spawns in the first wave, obviously one doom shroom just takes care of that, so we don't need much effort to deal with it. However, after the first flag is when things go south really quickly, since lots of football zombies start charging in, and killing football zombies with pea shooters, I can say, is rather challenging and probably not a good idea. It's pretty much only barely possible to keep up with them by using our instant use plants every wave of zombies. Jalapeno this wave, Ice Shroom this next wave, and then Doom Shroom. The pattern just goes on. I'm fairly certain you get it, but this strategy actually works really well and got us to the final wave. That is of course with the exception that Jalapeno zombies just completely demolish all our sunshrooms, which makes us lose in the final wave. Jalapeno zombies stay in the front of the lawn, which is where all the gravestones have spawned in, making them basically impossible to reach with our instant use plants. They eventually just explode, killing all our available sunshrooms except very few, and this causes us to not be able to afford Doom Shroom in the final wave, so this was a bust. Trying this strategy again, but this time I'm way more aggressive with spamming pea shooters. They are our best form of defense as they were immune to Zombotany peas. However, even with spamming more pea shooters, the same problem literally arose again. We managed to get to the final wave still standing, but with literally no sun to work with. With us already reaching the final wave several times with this strategy, it was relatively promising that this was not going to be very difficult to finish, so I stuck with the loadout. The key to beating this level was obviously the amount of sun we needed to have in order to beat the final wave. So, instead of only having 2 columns of sunshrooms, I decided to go for 3 columns. Yes, you may be wondering, if I plant 3 columns of sunshrooms, how on earth am I going to fit in puff shrooms in this defense to do damage to the zombies? The answer is we literally just don't. We don't actually need that many puff shrooms since they do relatively minuscule damage compared to what we can output with pea shooters. Pea shooter spamming is mostly just enough to get us through the level alongside planting a bunch of instant use plants. Now, just pea shooter doesn't always work, so I'd just dig up 1 or 2 sunstreams in a row to replace them with puff streams when it gets a little bit too dicey. Just try to keep more sun producers on the board, since they are very important for us to keep up the inflow of sun to get more instant use plants down to defend off the zombies. And indeed, planting a whole extra column of sunstreams was the solution, since we had a much easier time and got even above 1000 sun. Just keep stalling out the zombies with the planter and ice stream cycle strategy, and you will eventually reach the final wave with enough sun to blast them with the Doom Shroom. With the Doom Shroom to one-shot the final wave grave spawns, you just need to defend any rows you lost the lawnmowers in, so watch out for those and use instant use plants appropriately. Obvious choices include using jalapeno in a row where you don't have a lawnmower anymore, like I'm doing right here, and that's going to be grave danger completed. Dark Stormy Night is like 410, but with different zombies and different plants. There are now just Dolphin Riders and Balloon Zombies on top of Coneheads and basic zombies. It also has 3 flags instead of 2. The plants we get to use are pea shooters, cherry bombs, lily pads, puff streams, and cactus. Since pea shooters are moving, cactus is our only permanent defense in this level other than the very weak puff streams. It is key to keep as many of these alive by placing them towards the back of the lawn. Even though they have increased health, we don't want them dying to torchlight zombies. The strategy is relatively simple this level, which is just planting down cactus as defense. The ground lanes are pretty much very easy to beat with cactus spam and pea shooters as support. There's basically nothing on the ground lanes except for basic and conehead zombies, so it shouldn't be too hard to deal with the zombies there. On the other hand, the water lanes are the most dangerous this level, since Dolphin Riders constantly rush to the end of the water and ravage your cacti. Thankfully though, cacti have increased health, courtesy of Brutal Mode EX, so each cactus can block for a prolonged duration against the horde of Dolphin Riders. Try to focus down on the Dolphin Riders as much as possible with your cherry bombs there to reduce the amount of damage your cactus are taking. Using pea shooter in the water is obviously not advised, since they just fall into the water if there is no lily pad supporting them, making them pretty much a waste when it survives for only 10 seconds. Pretty straightforward conveyor belt level with nothing too out of the blue, and you should be able to complete Dark Stormy Night relatively easily. And that's this minigame done. Squirrel is a really interesting minigame which is unchanged. You win by literally digging up all the walnuts on the lawn before a football zombie reaches your house. That's it. Yep. So the strategy here is the hotkey to your shovel is tilde on your keyboard to make this minigame last 10 seconds instead of 20 seconds. It's as simple as that. Not really sure why the original PvZ developers originally made this level, but it's probably an unfinished minigame idea left inside the game's hidden data. With these minigames out of the way, we have reached the end of this video. Next time, we will attempt to finish the hardest minigames in Brutal Mode EX. Invisible, Big Trouble Little Zombie, Can You Dig It, and Budgie Blitz are all extremely tough levels that we haven't been able to beat yet, and we are going to try to do them. If you've made it this far into the video, I'm sure you enjoyed watching it for sure, so why not subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with more Brutal Mode EX.